Welcome to the Trap Life channel. Let's talk three-back football. Today's topic, so important. I hope you stick around for this because this is why. These are reasons why your best coach or one of your best coaches has to be with the offensive line. Now, this is an important statement because it is hard for the guy who's in charge to go there and say, I'm going to work with the offensive line and let one of my assistants work with the quarterbacks, receivers. You know, most guys want to be with the guys with the ball. That's just how we are by nature, all of us. I'm guilty as charged. But you need to take some serious time to consider, do I need to be with the offensive line? Because if you want to have success, if you're going to run the ball, no matter what you do, you have to be excellent up front. And it's not just about being strong, right? Obviously, those things help. But it's not just about that. And you can affect the product you put on the field by the work you're doing with your offensive line. Now, I was reminded of this. It was a strong reminder. My last Trap Life clinic right here, this guy, John Bowen out of Schuylerville, New York, one of the top smaller school programs in New York. He's doing an incredible job there, Flexbone team. And he wasn't but 5 minutes into his presentation, and I'm going, okay, I can see why these guys are good. They're good because he is excellent at coaching the offensive line. He's committed to being excellent on the offensive line. I made this little slideshow for you. Let's bring this up. And these are the three things that I learned and were reminded of on his presentation. I'll link that below if you want to go on our Trap Life channel. Man, you need to see his presentation, right? So he went for quite a while, really diving deep, film and everything. And when I finish this little slideshow, I'm going to show you some clips from his presentation here right after this quick slideshow. I'll go fast, man. These are the three things that you have to be excellent at teaching, and you have to actually take time to teach, right? It's not about, right? You see the first one, stances. You can't just touch it on day one or remind kids get in a good stance and be done with it. You have to literally teach. What does that mean? Your steps. What specifically, how are we supposed to step? Most offensive linemen, offensive line coaches would say, right, these are our first steps. But I have to be conscious of how am I teaching steps? And then last, how exactly am I teaching our schemes? It's not just you go that way and I go that way. You take him, I take him. There are details there, and the coaches who are winning games consistently year in and year out are up to their neck in the details of these three things. And let's start with stances. And again, I'm going to show you some video from Coach Bowen's presentation that's over at Trap Life TV. I'm going to show you those at the end, but let's go over these, man. Why is it important to teach a good stance? Well, first, because your offensive line, especially in a three-back system, that's what we are, you've got to get a good push. You have to be in a position where you can be strong. If you yourself go out to your driveway and put your car in neutral and you go to push that car, there is a specific way you can stand that will give you a better chance of moving it faster. And I have to teach my kids how to get into a strong position. The next thing that is essential is that your kid can see. How do I get into a good position that my kid can also see from? Or, of course, goes my phone. Now, it might be easy if you go ahead and put yourself in a stance right there in your living room, how much you can see. But if you've played the game, which most of you have, and you put on shoulder pads and the helmet now comes to here, and you can only look up so far because of your pads. Well, now, how am I good enough? My stance good enough that I can be in a strong position that I can push from, and I can see what the opponents are doing? I need to be able to see some of them. And now I'm a bigger, heavier kid. Maybe I'm slightly less athletic. That's why I'm down here. You've got to do all this with these kids. It's simply not as easy as getting a good stance and be done with it. So what does the lack of a stance give us? The lack of a good stance, well, it shows us that I have more teaching to do. These kids are lacking in some flexibility. So I need to be doing work, of course, a lot in the off season, but how do I improve their flexibility? Some kids might just simply have too big of a belly to get in the stance. How do we improve our health? So it goes very, very deep here, right? What is the lack of ability to get into a stance? What is that showing us, right? Some kid might be big and strong, but his inability to get into a stance is an opportunity for you to talk to him about you are big and strong, but you can't get into a good pushing position in the game of football. You can't be as effective as some of your teammates. So these are teaching opportunities, and you've got to know that the stance isn't just a day one thing. Now, I have to spend time here. And of course, John Bowen, you'll see at the end, he's excellent, man. Steps, like, why is a first step important? We need, right? Your first step should be this. I'm speaking generically here. With your left foot, you have to step with your left foot, and it needs to be at a 45-degree angle. Why is that so important? It's because you miss less. On any given play with 11 players trying to execute one scheme, the thing that kills plays is that somebody misses, and they miss because there's good athletes on the other team as well. Right, so we've got to reduce the number of times that we miss. Can we get down to missing only one time per drive and then one time per half? How about when we're so good, we miss only one time per game? Having a good first step is about missing less often. And it's the same thing. It's not about telling someone to miss less. You have to practice and build a habit within your athletes of a correct first step. It's habit building. It really, I don't even know if it's a decision. It's habit building because the chaos of the game happens. The defense is moving. Things are adjusting. Have you built the habit into your players of a good first step? It's hard to coach. That's why you or your best coach or one of your best coaches, you've got to put them with the offensive line. You're wasting years. You're wasting season after season if you don't do it. The next thing is you can cover more ground with good first steps. And I put that 1/100th of a second in there because these are the amounts that we're trying to improve. If you watch the Olympics, which it's Winter Olympics time, right? The difference between a gold medal and sixth on the podium, that's like it can be 6/100ths of a second. And the same thing on a Friday night, man. The difference between making the block or missing the block could be literally 3 to 5 hundredths of a second, right? Is this much time that makes a difference between executing or missing. And really good coaches take it seriously. And really good coaches are hunting for 3 to 5 100ths of a second of an advantage. So the last thing is your scheme. And I say this, right? It's so important to not just tell a kid, hey, a down block here. Hey, we're double teaming. Well, I put in parentheses for lack of a better way to explain it. What kind? How exactly do we double team, Coach? What kind of a double team? And Coach Bowen in his presentation went over, they've got a couple different kinds of double teams. And they're going to identify this one's a lazy. We're doing this kind of double team here. So you need to create a common language with your kids that we're doing this kind of double team. You, player A, you're playing this role in the double team. So therefore you fit up like this. And player B, you fit this role in the double team. So therefore your technique is this. Which just having that common language improves your double teams. Rather than saying, right, a newer coach would literally say, double team, 2-on-1, take care of it, right? But there is so much more beyond just identifying what do we want, identifying a down block, right? When in my down block do I want my head in front versus when am I aiming to get my head behind? So these are details that you have to take time to iron out. And maybe many of you are, but today's just a reminder of why it is so essential to take the best coach and put him on the offensive line. This is where your money is made, Okay. And then when do we change, right? Hey, this is the rules. These are the rules. This is how we do things. But we're not in charge of how the defense lines up. So is there anything with what they do that could change what we do? The answer is usually yes. So we got to take time, a lot of time, to teach all of those changes. Let's jump over to that video. I've got 3 things written down, our 3 focuses that we're looking at written down. This is our presentation from John Bowen here. Played in the state title game a few times just in the last 5 years. They are for real. But take a look at his 5 guys. These are his 5 starting O-linemen here in the offseason. And you'll just see him teaching the stance, right? All the way down to, notice that they're slightly pigeon-toed. He wanted his kids slightly pigeon-toed. As he said, as they roll into their stance now, that always straightens out. But they want to start pigeon-toed. And so here you get, right, they're down, as he calls it, up, down, out. They're down now, and then they roll into their out. Let me see if boom, look at that out. You see that? I'm going to show it one more time. Out. Man, that's beautiful, man. So there's them teaching stances and taking time. And those 5 kids look good. This is a team that played in a New York State title game. Next, first steps. Here's some quick footage of him teaching, spending time on first steps. So this is a representation of some of their board drills that they do. And right there, that half court line, he's using that half court line as a simulated board when they do this indoors. And you can see him diving into the details of, here's exactly where I need your right toe, right up against that board, he's saying, right? And then this is what I need your first step to be. And this is important because we're going to miss less often. We're going to make our blocks less often. This one specifically was called their stack step. You can see he's ripping through, almost turning their shoulders and getting back vertical. Really good stuff, man. So this whole video is 52 minutes long. I'm going to show you one last thing. Here's them drilling one of their types of double teams here. Let me see if I can get to it. 40 minutes and 27 seconds. Looks like it's right after this. And here they are working one of their double teams. This is the one that they called lazy. Take a look. Boom. Center runs what? Well, I can't remember what he called this. He showed how they drill this too. The center is doing this. He's giving a flipper and allowing or hoping that he's got backside guy coming to take over. This is, again, it has, they've created a common language for it. They know what the technique of man A is and what the technique of man B is. And then they're going to work those 2 techniques individually, and then they'll be able to work those techniques together. And then later he shows, as you'll see an example here, they're taking a look at these concepts happening within the game, right? Here is the carryover into the game. Man, I get excited about this. I don't even know who I'm preaching at. Guys, as the longer I do this, and I love talking ball. Obviously, I've been making these videos forever, but all of us are hunting. How do we gain an edge? And this is one of the fastest ways to gain an edge, or certainly one of the ways that I see. This is one of those stones that I think is so often left unturned in many programs. So, just my food for thought. So take it how you'd like it, man. See if maybe something in there affects you. Like I said, you can learn from me. That links are below to all sorts of deep dive videos I've created from my offense as well. But also links to Trap Life TV. That's traplife.vhx.tv, which is the best collection of 3-back content online. So check those out if you want. Appreciate you guys for joining. Look forward to seeing you again.